the other two roles?
No, we would be cross-training. They would spend time in the plant and learning, and they would over time pick up those certifications. But over the first year, we had the one certified guy who would spend quite a bit of time at the plant, and we would then start to hire those other two while Aquaterra is still there.
Okay. I guess my question is, if we take those people out of service and put them here, do we have to hire people to replace them to do the job that they're currently doing?
And the answer is yes. We intend to hire 3 total. Move 1, hire to replace them, hire 2 more to go with them. Yeah.
So that's an extra cost there.
Well, that's in this cost. A total of hiring 3 people for roughly $380.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Reese. I just had a question. If this direction request passes, what is the RFD going to look like that comes to regular? Is it going to have multiple options, including contractor, in-house, maybe 3rd option, or is this simply a yes or no for doing it in-house?
Through the committee, I would really just bring back the same report was the intention. I mean, there's really only 2 options in front of you tonight. Continue carrying on with Aquaterra, or have us work towards bringing it in-house. Those are the 2 options.
Yeah, so the purpose of having it come to committee tonight was just to kind of gauge if there's an appetite to have a consideration for bringing it in-house.
Yes, if you would have accepted this for information, we would have went along and renewed with Aquaterra and carried on our little way.
Okay, great, thank you for that. Councillor Magoon and then Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, and I guess, again, building off of that, one of the questions I have is, have we had a sit down with Aquaterra to say, look, your contract's coming up. We went through 2018 to 2023, and our contract cost the town approximately this much. With the extension, I mean, if you use this year's rates, it's nearly $3 million across all those years. At the end of the day, we're going to bring this back to council. Can you do anything for us? This is a business, it's negotiation. So we can go back to council and we believe we can deliver the same service for cheaper. Can you cut us a deal? Like, have we had that conversation with Aquaterra yet?
We've had quite a few conversations with Aquaterra. We're going back and forth with the agreements quite a bit.
Yeah.
On a number of things. So yeah, we are having those discussions.
Sorry, if I can dig into that a little bit, Mr. Chairman.
Maybe I would exercise caution though.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I will regard that. Thanks. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Magoon. Councillor Taylor?
Related to what he said, has the cost of the Aquaterra renewal been worked into this analysis? Obviously it has if you've talked to them. But have you? Has it?
Through the committee, yeah, I think that those costs are worked in there, yes.
You think?
Yeah.
You don't know what you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the 2025 escalation has been applied to that or not, but that would be the only thing. I mean, I think it would have been, but I would have to double check that, and I'll do that before bringing it back forward.
Good.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Magoon, and then Councillor Haas.
This might be simple, but as a 3rd option, as a 3rd additional option, even if it wasn't the recommendation of administration, could it be the option of council to put out an RFP, just generally for water contracting services, to see what kind of quotes we get back in, and then why or would we not, given this context, pursue that or not pursue that?
Through the chair of the committee, it is a pretty unique service and the stuff. I'm not saying that there isn't out there, other vendors out there. We explored that at one point, and we believe that council's best options are in front of them.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Ross?
Just of a third option, because I noticed and I realized this was phasing out, like the strategy would be reducing the scope of Aquaterra's work by one certified operator and extending the agreement for 1 year. Is that also an option where we have our own person in there with, a reduced amount from Aquaterra? Or is that just not good business or good way of conducting business in that area to have a mixture?
Through the chair of the committee, I think they're willing to work with us, and they're excellent. They're willing to work with us to achieve this and that kind of stuff. But I mean, they're also a business, and and that kind of stuff that, if they want to do it or not do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I appreciate that. Yeah, just it popped out at me, but that would be for an interim amount of time. So awesome. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Ross, Councillor Magoon?
Thank you, and I apologize, I just have to understand these factors before I can figure out how I'm going to support. Has the town considered any potential impacts to our own liability insurance if we take on more of these services in-house?
through the chair of the committee, just through the nature of the agreements and the contracts, I think you carry the same liability no matter what.
Sorry if I may be very specific though.
Sure.
Sorry, as it applies to insurance, the cost of our insurance premiums.
Through the chair, it wouldn't really make any difference
Okay.
because we're not, there's no difference to the actual assets that we're insuring. There's really no difference to the liability, and the liability is quite intertwined with Mondi, but generally speaking, it's our responsibility what comes out of that plant as the municipality. If anybody is going to be sued for, something related to water, it will be the town.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Committee? Councillor Taylor?
When I do my back and napkin analysis on these costs, I don't get the 100,000 that you do. When I factor in, what a level 2, 3 operator would get paid, reasonable amount of overtime and benefits, they get costs that are greater than the amounts that are shown here. Have you factored those things into this analysis?
Through the chair of the committee, yes, I believe those are factored in based on what our current operators are making and such.
Okay, so they make well less than 100,000 a year then.
Don't want to discuss people's wages in
Okay,
open
that's fine.
session.
They must have.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Magoon?
On that note, but without seeking details in an open session, as a councillor, in order to get to a decision that I think is supportive of what's potentially on the floor, when this comes to a regular council meeting, even if it's provided to us in closed session, a financial summary, even if it's high level, that demonstrates to us on the interim of how it's going to be cost neutral and then eventually leading us to cost savings over that, you call it 2 or 3 year window, would be really helpful to me to support it in regular council next time. So if admin's willing to provide that, it would just provide me comfort. And I understand that would have to be provided in closed session. I think that's completely reasonable. I think it would be quick and easy. Thank you. But that being said, Mr. Chair, I'm willing to support this to move to regular council.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Committee, anything further? Okay, seeing nothing further from the committee. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, I don't support this at this time. That's not to say when it comes to regular council that I won't support it if more information is coming. But I'm not that convinced that things have changed that much since 2018. Yeah, we've got employees in place right now, but we're talking long-term. We're talking long-term here. So I'm just not that convinced. Plus the costs of what seemed like backstop contracts with somebody haven't been talked about too much. So, anyways, doesn't mean I won't vote for it later.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Mayor Nissen and then Councillor Race.
Thank you. And through the chair of the committee, I'm going to be in support of this motion here today. But like Councillor Taylor, I'm not 100% sure what action I want to see go forward on this one. I do want to see us discuss it again. And I want to take some time to think about this one. This is a complex issue with significant risks either way, I think. So, thank you, Chair.
Mayor Nissen, Councillor Race, and then Councillor Moon.
Thank you, Chair. I will not be supporting this motion. On paper, it looks like we could be saving $100,000, but in reality, I have a feeling that might be costing us 100. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Race, Councillor Magoon, and then Councillor Haas.
Yeah, I support the mayor's thoughts on this. I think, it's funny, I think the same thing as Councillor Taylor, but I guess my procedure is a little reversed. I'm happy to see it come to regular council, receive some additional information in camera, or in closed session, pardon me, and then make a decision. If all the facts line up and it looks good and it makes sense, yeah, it's absolutely risky. It's a big ticket item. I'll be prepared to make that decision if that information comes to regular council. I suppose for my colleagues who aren't prepared, you can always move it to table, get some additional information, and then bring it back to regular council. But I'm confident administration has heard what we need for info for regular. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Councillor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, in my intent, I too, again, have, some concerns with this, but this isn't a decision at this point. This is, and I appreciate Councillor Magoon's discussion on if there can be some in closed session understanding of financials, because I agree. I think that having a good fulsome understanding of those financials in a closed session will definitely assist in making this decision. But I just don't see the point of not going forward with this at this point. I think a lot of answers can be, or a lot of questions can be answered. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know yet. And I think it's worthwhile looking at and then make a decision from there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Committee, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, I don't want to belabor, but my preference would be if this gets voted down, put forward a consensus for a business plan to get this information before we make any decisions on it. And for reasons already stated, that one of the things that I kind of think about is that 2018 decisions were based on a very detailed feasibility study, according to what I was told. But to date, we don't have quite the same level of information. Yeah, we've got information on basic financial information, but what we're missing is some base information based on the value of this decision, the value of what Aquaterra has provided. So I would, that was my preference. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Magoon.
Yeah, it gets to administration as part of Councillor Taylor's concern. Help those of us that either were on council but it was a while ago, or those who weren't on council. Is it possible to, as part of that report, bring us the original RFD that appeared in council on the Aquaterra decision initially?
Through the committee, normally I would say yes, but for the next couple of weeks, I'm not so sure.
Fair point. Sorry, if I may.
Yeah.
If the cyber gods align and things happen, that would be another piece of info that would be helpful. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. For myself, to speak to that point directly, I'm not against that. It's one of the things that I think council and committee has to remember, though, is that at the time when that decision was made, we didn't have anything even remotely resembling surety about water and how water was going to be managed moving forward in the community. That's significantly changed now. We know how we're going to move forward with supplying potable water to the community, so we have some surety about the plant and where it's going to be and how it's going to work. And so for me, that changes the conversation quite a bit from the one we had in 2018. Thanks, Mayor Nissen.
Thank you. And to Councillor Ostachuk's point, the reason that I'm considering this, it's not because of the cost savings. It's because we currently have a qualified person in-house, and maintaining that qualifications and in fact building on those qualifications is something of value as we move towards our own water treatment plant. I see this as potentially setting our town up for success, but also potentially, the contract offers us a lot of resiliency that we might be giving up by going after that long-term success. And so those are the considerations that I have on this point. I'm not ready to decide today, but thankfully this has to go to a regular meeting of council with some reporting before then. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Nissen. Committee, any other comments, questions? Okay, if there's nothing further from committee, we will call the question the direction the committee direct administration to present the water treatment plant operations report at a future regular meeting of council, with the option of administration moving towards bringing water treatment plant operations in-house. Committee, any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor and opposed? And that is carried 4-2 with councillors Race and Taylor in opposition. Moving forward, if there's nothing else on water treatment plant operations, we'll move on to council reporting. We'll start over to my left, Councillor Race.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Councillor Race. Councillor Taylor.
I have a waste authority meeting this week, so if you have any questions or concerns, just email them to me. If your email works.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Mayor Nissen.
Thank you, and through the chair of the committee, last week I attended the Alberta Municipalities Spring Municipal Leaders Caucus in Edmonton. It was an interesting event, to say the least. Lots of discussions from the ministers. The Premier was there. A lot of it waylaid by the tariff situation that's going on currently, and unfortunately not a lot of answers. I can tell you that from the policing committee standpoint, where we've had questions, every other community that I talked to has had those questions, and I had more than a few communities come up and ask us whether we're doing regionals, whether we're going off on our own. I can tell you that the municipality of Hinton is ahead of the curve on this one. So great work on administration moving that forward. There is an item that I want to bring before council, and that is I was invited to participate in the Mid-Sized Towns Mayor's Caucus. There's a brochure that many councillors have gotten to see, and Councillor Stashik, you can take a look at it afterwards. Mid-sized towns in this regard are defined as towns between 1,000 and 15,000 population, so just under the mid-sized cities. And the idea behind this group is ultimately to be an advocacy group surrounding a single issue, and that issue is the infrastructure deficit. The original 15 communities, they're all in the Olds, Penhold, Didsbury kind of area, but they've expanded out. They're looking to recruit in the other communities. There's a total of 84 mid-size classified communities in the province. They've met with already the Premier, and they have gotten an agreement from the province to form a working group around, again, a single issue, infrastructure deficits. Now, in order to join the caucus, there's a nominal fee and some meeting costs that can easily be absorbed by my professional development budget. However, because of the advocacy component to the caucus, it is required, or the group requires, that we have a letter endorsed by our council in a regular council session to show the province and the Premier that in fact this community is fully behind it. And so if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them now, but if council's in support, I would be looking for council to make a direction that administration bring back a report to the next meeting of council so that we can get that done. And I'm not chairing this meeting, so I will say thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Nissen. Councillor Madhu.
Yeah, I'd be very happy to put forward that consensus request. I think that's an excellent goal, given the realities that our towns are faced with. Just not sure about the wording, but I'm happy to acquiesce on whatever we need.
We'll just make sure the direction request is captured, and then we'll open the floor.
Oh, no, that's okay, I'll forget it.
We'll forget.
Well, I won't forget it, but maybe it's not worth saying. I have a procedure.
I have you in queue, you can consider it.
It's a procedural question.
Mid-sized towns.
Those are fine.
We'll be back.
Get you're going at the bottom. All right, so we have a consensus request, the committee direct administration to bring a report on the mid-sized towns mayor's caucus to a future meeting of council.
To a future regular meeting of council? Is that what you, yeah? I added something, I feel good now.
What is your motion?
I'm good. Thank you.
You're good? Okay, so Councillor Race, Councillor Haas, Councillor Taylor, and myself.
Thank you. So, what are, do you know what Alberta Muni's thoughts are on this?
So this is a caucus, oh, sorry, Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a caucus outside of Alberta municipalities. So this is an advocacy piece over and above what we're doing with Alberta municipalities. It is modeled, like I said, exactly after the mid-sized cities caucus. That is, they're doing the same thing outside of Alberta municipalities. The charter cities have their own advocacy groups as well, and then hamlets and summer villages also have a group. It's us 84 mid-sized towns that didn't. And these great towns in the center of our province recognize that and have made some real progress towards infrastructure deficit solutions with the province.
So I do know there are municipalities who are not pleased with Alberta municipality. Would you know if this is kind of an offshoot of those?
No, so this is a group specifically that's formed specifically to advocate on the infrastructure deficit and nothing else outside of the Alberta Munis processes, following again the procedure that mid-sized cities did to get real traction on some of their issues. It's a single item caucus designed specifically to work towards a working group to find a solution to our, and it's not just us, it's every mid-sized town has a massive infrastructure deficit, and we're not going to solve the problem with the existing solutions. That's been recognized by both us and the towns, but also the province now, and that's where this is coming from.
I'm glad you clarified that, because I really don't want to be part of municipalities who, just have a bit of a hate on, want them to want to do good work, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Race, Councillor Haas, Taylor, and myself.
Yeah, I appreciate, I'll be in support of this, to hear more about it and at a regular. But I think, one of the things that we've identified over and over again is, being a voice out in Alberta to ministers, and I think this is a great opportunity to really voice where the town of Hinton is at and have some advocacy not only for our own community, but also for the other communities as well. So I think this is a great opportunity, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Haas, Councillor Taylor.
Well, obviously, the MLA for Slave Lakes thinks there's something here, right? So I guess if we don't do this, then what do we have? Like the big cities have a good voice. But if we don't do this, we have nothing. Is that correct?
At this point, the mid-sized towns, there's 15 towns, they started, they've been at this for about a year, so this is going forward with or without the town of Hinton. So if we were to not do this, we'd simply be left out of the conversation. But they're going to be advocating on our behalf either way. I would like to be a part of it.
That's the follow. Okay, they say they want their fair share. So they must have, or do they have any sort of metrics or information that indicates that we're not getting our fair share?
They do, and I'm certain that will be in the report. The communities there have done a lot of administrative work. I didn't want to direct our administration myself to bring everything towards council, but there is a lot of information for council that we can get from the administrators that have already been working on this file.
So you've seen that information that indicates that we're being disadvantaged as opposed to the bigger cities?
It is not, so the question, actually, I would like to reframe that. The statement is not that we're being disadvantaged compared to the big cities on this file. It's that the infrastructure deficits that mid-sized towns have and the nature of mid-sized towns is different from the cities, and the solution is not the same. So the solution for infrastructure deficits in both mid-sized and charter cities is a different solution than it is in mid-sized towns. And I think we can all recognize the reasons for that. What this caucus is saying is we need a solution that's built for our communities, not for the big cities that just simply won't work out here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. I had a question too. Mine's more about the direction request though. What would the report entail and what would be the request for decision that comes out of the report?
So the report can provide a lot more of the background administrative information that I've been able to provide here. As I said, the communities that have been working on this have all of the administrative documentation for our admin to just take and return to council. So it'd be everything that's been worked on so far, but the actual request out of the report will be simply to provide a letter of support for the town of Hinton taking part in the caucus. From a financial standpoint, I said there is a nominal fee, but it can easily be taken care of through my own professional development funds. And at this time, I think that actually makes a lot of sense since the total cost with meeting fees and whatnot will be unknown at this stage. It is something, if council was interested in the future, that we could set up for in the budget for the next council if that was something that we wanted to see continue in the long term.
Thank you. Councillor Haas?
Just procedurally too, because I don't want to delay, things, but will we have to pass the letter too at some point, or can that letter be part of the report that we can just take care of it all at once if so be it?
From my perspective, the letter would be part of this report.
Okay.
It's the most important part for going to council, and it was going to come verbatim from one of the other administrators.
Okay, perfect. No, that's great. Thank you.
Councillor Haas? Committee, anything further? Okay, see nothing further from committee. Call to question, the committee direct administration to bring a report on the mid-sized town mayor's caucus to a future regular meeting of council. Committee, all those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. Anything further?
That is all I have for today.
Okay. For myself, I have nothing to report. Councillor Magoon?
Just a technological issue, and I think many of you might be experiencing something similar. Understanding our cyber context right now, I'm getting odd emails from people outside the organization, no problem, but seemingly any internal emails from fellow councillors, etc., they're not coming through. Just if you're trying to get a hold of me for council type business, that's something I'm still trying to get squared away, and I didn't realize was an issue until Saturday, somewhere there. Thanks.
So to follow up on that to administration, is there anything regarding emails that you're aware of that council needs to be aware of? I just thought we were having low email traffic. Maybe I'm not getting
Me too.
Through to all of committee, there is no email troubles that I've been made aware of. We tested it last meeting, myself and Mr. Taylor. He had the same concern and emails were going through. We have, as of today, reconnected the 365 environment, so there will be full access to Outlook, Word, Excel, but it will be limited from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m., I believe is the hours. And if I just may further, we have also reestablished connection for ActiveNet down at the rec center, and they will be 24/7 for online booking and being able to take payments again at the rec center.
Okay. Did you have anything to add, Kemp? Is there anything in particular that you're missing emails or?
Yeah, just I guess the case study that got my curiosity peaked, because I was the same way. I was like, oh, I guess we just have low email counts. Councillor Taylor had sent an email earlier this weekend, had called to ask me about it. I checked my email, didn't have it, but from an outside perspective, at 10:14 this morning and 8:21 this morning, I received emails from people outside the organization. Councillor Haas has sent me a test email, but again, it just seemed quite weird. Something doesn't feel right, and it might just be I have to sit down with Gary.
Okay.
Given the nature of things.
So this might not be the right venue, but did that go to all of council, Councillor Taylor? Because I don't think I got it either.
No, it was just a question for Ryan.
Just to Ryan, okay.
But I don't want to eat up more reporting time with that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no, that one went to everybody. And I know you got it because you're you made a reaction when I brought up the RCP.
Yeah, okay, those are both there.
Might have been coincidental, I don't think I got it.
Well, you didn't get my email that come in, or? Okay.
Oh, okay, I'll go back and check. Okay, thank you. Councillor Haas.
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Haas. That brings us to 6.2, Chief Administrative Officer Reporting and Status Report. City of Menneson.
Thank you, Chair. We have included our February 2025 operating highlights, so if you have any questions about that report, over at
Okay, committee, any questions? Councillor Taylor?
Perhaps not a big concern right now, but I was getting a few comments on the dust before when it was so dry. So, when did, the dust on the roads?
All roads or a specific road?
I can't remember which roads. When do we start dust control? Typically.
Typically, I think it's June or July. The trouble with the dust control is there's essentially one or two contractors in the entire province, and every municipality hires them. So you're in line with wherever they put you in line. I understand we've already set up the contract, so I'm hoping we're early in line.
No, I'm talking about asphalt dust control with our new machine. Sweeper, sorry.
Oh, the sweeping. Oh, the sweeping we will start probably April, something like that. We'll put out cones on it when we start.
When did you say? I'm sorry.
Probably late April, I would think.
All right.
We knew it was too early to start.
Sweep it up and then put some more sand in. Committee, any other questions on the report? Councillor Haas?
It's not on the status report, I was gonna, and maybe this is both for the CEO and also the agenda prep, but one of the things that we were unable to do at our latest strategic planning was the asset management overview. So is there plans to bring that to a committee, or is that a workshop, or what are the plans moving forward so that we get a chance to see that when our cyber hell is over?
through the chair to members of the council. No decisions have really been made on that, but one of the things that I was thinking is part of the new council orientation, just as a demonstration or asset management program and what it actually looks from a staff interface perspective, so council has a good understanding of how that system works. But
Okay.
that was the thought, but
Okay.
like I said, if council would like to see that at another time, or you know, would certainly entertain a motion to bring it forward earlier with this council.
That's fine for now. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Committee, anything further? Okay, seeing nothing, we do have one closed session item tonight. Councillor Haas?
I'd like to make a motion to move into closed session.
Okay. Motion to go into closed session. Committee, all those in favor? We will go into closed in after a 5-minute recess. Thank you.